Yo, what's good guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we have a detailed look at these guys right here. This is the ANTA KT2. So with that being said, let's go ahead, get right into it.
Kyle, what up? Which way to go? Breath. Money and fame, man. Nobody knows. Bitch. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. What's the fuck with you? All of this sex with you. And it's the sad, that's true. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, man.
All right, so before we get up close with these guys, the first thing I want to say is just that, for one, they're super lightweight, especially compared to the original KT1. It was super apparent as soon as I pulled them out of the box. I was actually surprised because these look bulkier than the KT1. Second thing is that they're super comfortable, but I'll get into that in a second. Now the outsole looks awesome. The rubber compound feels awesome as well. The KT1 had some really great traction. A few minor issues with slipping here and there. Hopefully these guys resolve that problem with a better rubber compound. And ANTA is a Chinese-based brand, so that means that all of their shoes use rubber that is usually good for outdoors and indoors. Now the midsole setup is pretty awesome. It's not anything fancy or anything like that, but what they did is they made their most basic midsole tooling setup and then kind of enhance it a little bit by adding different foam layered inserts. This is what a lot of brands do. Nike's done it, Jordan's done it, Peak does it all the time, Li Ning does it. So, you know, it happens across the board. And this is one of the first times I think that ANTA's doing it, because usually they're known as the kind of like the cheaper alternative brand over in China. And these guys, they actually put in some effort with the cushion, which I think is great. So you have a lightweight foam midsole, and then in the heel and forefoot, you have two different density foam units that they actually inserted into those sections. So you're getting a really comfortable ride. It's noticeable right when you try them on, and on top of that, the insole that they use is really comfortable and well cushioned as well, unlike the original KT1. So again, they're super light right off the bat, and they increase the cushion, which is already an upgrade from the original model. Now the materials are exactly the same as what we saw on the KT1. Basically you have a mixture between fuse and mesh, and then on the KT2 the rear section just happens to have a couple of overlays that are synthetic leather, along with an external TPU heel counter. Personally, I do like the way that these look. I think that they look a lot cleaner than the KT1. A lot of people have been saying that they look too much like the KT1, and at first glance I do believe that that is true. However, they also kind of look like an evolutionized version of the shoe, which I do like seeing. It's something that I used to be able to see in Jordans, where like you would look at the past model from the year before, you know, and pick out like things that you see that are similar in design on the newest model. So like the 6 and the 7 and even the 8, like the toes were similar, the heels were similar with the Air unit, which then evolved into the 8 that had none. So things like that, that's kind of how I'm looking at these guys, where design elements are similar but they're different enough, and it kind of just shows evolution of the shoe's design overall. Now you have plenty of Klay Thompson branding. You have the KT11 logo on the tongue. This area is actually made out of synthetic leather. I don't like how that feels. I would have rather have just had it been like the mesh that's underneath it and then have the logo either ironed on or stamped on, stitched on maybe. I just don't like the synthetic leather stuff. And then behind the tongue you have his signature that is embroidered. So that pretty much takes care of the shoe. This is the home version. There's an away version, there's a Christmas edition, there's a breast cancer edition, there's a make it rain edition or something like that. Those ones actually look really cool this year. And the only thing that feels kind of cheap about the shoe is the laces. Actually, it's normally something that I don't ever complain about, but the laces on these are noticeably like weird feeling. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm sure that they'll work just fine. Laces are laces, but you know, they just feel a little bit cheap to me. But other than that, I love the shoe, love how they look. I'm a fan of the shoe, so you know, you can take that for what it is. I did buy them though. And if you are interested and you live in the US and you want a place where you can actually buy the KT2, I will leave direct links in the description box below, because I don't think that there's any actual US release information as of yet. The KT1 release online via ANTA, I think it was like KT1 shop or something like that, and that was for US based customers. And then Bay Area Champs locations also had them in store. I haven't heard anything if that's going to be, you know, similar or the same this year with these guys. All I know is that they're available now in China, but we haven't had or heard anything for the US at this point. So like I said, if you're interested in buying a pair and you do live in the US, just check the description box. There's two different places, two different prices. You can take your pick which one you want to go with. Both of which though are authentic. They don't make fake ANTA shoes in China, because that would just be weird. So again, that takes care of everything. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for an upcoming performance review. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comment section below. And until next time guys, have a good one.
What's going on, guys? It's Jaren from WearTesters.com, and last week Nike unveiled the Hyper Adapt 1.0, which featured auto lacing technology inspired by the sneakers Marty McFly wore in Back to the Future 2. But tomorrow, it looks like Nike's...
And now we have these guys here, which is the Zoom Witness.